The Amazon River is teeming with some of the most unusual creatures on the planet. From odd-looking fish to peculiar reptiles, its waters conceal animals that seem almost otherworldly. With that in mind, let's explore the 10 strangest creatures that call the Amazon River home. Number 10. The Pink River Dolphin. Have you ever imagined what it would be like to encounter a dolphin that appears to be blushing? That's precisely what explorers experienced when they first came across the legendary Pink River Dolphin in the Amazon River. Imagine their astonishment when they spotted not the usual gray or blue dolphins, but a beautiful, rosy-hued creature gracefully navigating the murky waters. It was like stumbling upon a real-life unicorn, albeit one that preferred swimming to prancing. The Pink River Dolphin, known locally as the Boto, is the largest of the freshwater dolphins and undoubtedly the most colorful. These dolphins were first documented by scientists in the 19th century, with early accounts often blending facts with folklore. Many attributed the pink hue to various myths, including tales of magical transformations. Some locals believed it might be an enchanted river spirit, especially considering its habit of surfacing with a mysterious smile. But it wasn't just its color that made the Pink River Dolphin intriguing, it was also its playful behavior. Unlike their ocean-dwelling relatives, these dolphins had a reputation for being somewhat cheeky. They enjoyed nudging canoes as if to say, "Hey, you're in my river now." They would even snatch fish straight from fishermen's nets, adding to their mischievous reputation. Initially, researchers struggled to distinguish them from their gray counterparts due to their elusive nature. Over time, studies revealed unique adaptations, such as flexible necks and the ability to navigate through the muddy waters, which deepened our understanding of their role in the Amazon ecosystem. Scientists also discovered that the pink coloration was not merely decorative. It likely resulted from scar tissue caused by rough play with other dolphins, or simply a genetic trait. One thing is certain, this remarkable creature has captivated imaginations since its discovery, blending mystery with playfulness in a manner unique to the Amazon. But if you thought the pink dolphin was the strangest resident of the river, wait until you meet the creature lurking in the shadows, one that defies everything you thought you knew about river life. Number 9. The Amazonian Manatee. Deep in the Amazon, where the jungle pulses with life and the river flows with untold secrets, there exists a creature that remains elusive to most. The Amazonian manatee, affectionately referred to as the sea cow, was first scientifically described in 1983 by Austrian naturalist Johann Natterer. During his explorations in Brazil from 1817 to 1835, he collected the type specimen. However, the indigenous communities of the Amazon basin had long been aware of this fascinating animal. One intriguing account of the manatee's discovery emerged from the early 20th century explorer Percy Fawcett, who shared a tale recounted by a local guide. According to the story, a young boy was swimming in a river when he encountered a peculiar hairy creature with a face reminiscent of a human. Terrified, the boy hurried home to tell his father, a skilled manatee hunter. The father set out to find the creature and managed to harpoon it, only to realize that it was not a manatee at all, but rather a being with a human-like appearance and a tail. Fawcett speculated that this encounter might have involved a real-life mermaid, or perhaps a manatee that had been injured in some way. While this story has a whimsical touch, it underscores the long history of human interaction with the Amazonian manatee, a creature embedded in indigenous folklore and mythology. The gentle nature of the manatee, along with its human-like features and tendency to surface near boats, has contributed to its legendary status in the Amazon. Today, the Amazonian manatee is recognized as a unique and endangered species, with ongoing efforts aimed at studying and conserving this remarkable creature that has captivated the imaginations of explorers and local communities alike. With its gentle demeanor and fascinating adaptations, the Amazonian manatee continues to be a symbol of the rich biodiversity found within the Amazon River ecosystem. Its story serves as a reminder of the connections between humans and the natural world, highlighting the importance of protecting such unique and precious life forms. Number 8. The Titanoboa. On a dark, stormy night at the Sarajan coal mine, Colombian geologist Henry Garcia stumbled upon an intriguing fossil. Unbeknownst to him, this accidental discovery would lead to identifying the largest snake to have ever roamed the earth. In a moment of either brilliance or confusion, he labeled it a petrified branch and quickly forgot about it. Fast forward 9 years, and Fabiani Herrera, an unsuspecting geology student, picked up some rocks and noticed they were covered with fossilized leaves. He shared this find with Carlos Jaramillo, who recognized they might be onto something monumental, quite literally. This encounter led to the unveiling of Titanoboa sarajanensis, the largest snake ever known, reaching lengths of up to 47 feet and weighing in at over 2,500 pounds. Imagine a creature so enormous that it could consume a crocodile whole. This gigantic serpent thrived in a warm, swampy habitat, likely hunting large fish and turtles, wrapping them tightly before swallowing them down. With a girth comparable to that of a small car, Titanoboa was the ultimate predator of its era. Its strong vertebrae and powerful jaws could open wide enough to accommodate its impressive diet. So, the next time you think about snakes, remember that while your average garden snake is evading a lawnmower, Titanoboa was out there ruling the swamp, hunting for its next meal, and probably chuckling at the notion of being confused with a petrified branch. Number 7. The Kandar Fish. The Kandar fish, often referred to as the vampire fish, stands out as one of the most feared creatures in the Amazon River, despite its diminutive size. This slender parasitic catfish has a notorious reputation that sends chills down the spine, especially when you hear the stories surrounding its discovery. The kangaroo isn't dangerous because of its size, usually measuring just a few inches long, but because of its rather unsettling choice of habitat. This little fish is notorious for finding its way into the most unexpected, and let's say, private places. Legend has it that the kangaroo, attracted to the scent of ammonia found in urine, would mistakenly swim into the urethra of unsuspecting swimmers. Yes, you heard that correctly. In 1997, a Brazilian man found himself in what can only be described as the Amazonian version of a horror movie. This incident wasn't about giant anacondas or ferocious piranhas. Instead, the star of this chilling tale was the tiny yet terrifying kangaroo fish. According to the story, our unfortunate protagonist was enjoying a swim in the river, feeling the call of nature. He made the fateful decision to relieve himself in the water, blissfully unaware that he was about to become part of a fish story that would make grown men squirm. Mid-relief, the tiny kangaroo apparently mistook his, shall we say, personal plumbing for a cozy spot to call home. Drawn by the ammonia in his urine, this little fish swam upstream, leading to an excruciating situation for the man who suddenly found himself in intense pain and in dire need of medical assistance. Rushed to a hospital, he became the subject of one of the most bizarre X-rays the doctors had ever encountered. Yes, there was indeed a fish lodged in his urethra, making itself comfortable in a place where no one would expect a fish to be. The surgeons, undoubtedly trying to maintain professionalism, had to delicately extract this unwelcome guest in what was likely the most awkward surgery of their careers. Although the operation was successful and the man recovered, the story of the kangaroo's audacious invasion quickly turned into legend, serving as a cautionary tale for anyone thinking of taking a pee break in the Amazon River. Now it's time for today's topic. A recent expedition deep into the Amazon rainforest has left scientists too terrified to return. While conducting research along a remote river, the team captured footage of what appears to be a massive snake, far larger than any anaconda ever recorded. The creature, estimated to be over 50 feet long, was spotted slithering through the water before disappearing into the dense jungle. The footage has sparked heated debate. Some claim it's proof that the legendary Titanoboa, a prehistoric snake thought to have gone extinct millions of years ago, still roams the Amazon. Its sheer size and girth, along with its distinct features, have led many to believe this is no ordinary anaconda. It was like seeing a living fossil, one of the researchers reportedly said. Skeptics, however, argue the footage could be a camera trick or an optical illusion, exaggerating the size of a regular anaconda. Others suggest it might be a hoax designed to attract attention. Despite the controversy, the scientists involved have refused to return to the area, citing safety concerns. Whether this was truly a Titanoboa or just an illusion, the sighting has reignited fears and fascination about what might still be lurking in the uncharted depths of the Amazon. Number 6. The Maamada Turtle. The discovery of the Maamada Turtle is a tale that begins with an explorer pondering, well, that's odd, and culminates in the realization, wait, that's alive? Imagine a day in the Amazon, where a team of naturalists is traversing the dense jungle, cataloging every new and fascinating creature they encounter. The jungle teems with life, birds, insects, mammals, but it's in the waterways that the real surprises lie. Eager to uncover something truly remarkable, our explorers focus their attention on the riverbanks, anticipating something large and dramatic, perhaps a caiman or a giant catfish. Instead, they come across what seems to be a heap of leaves. At first glance, this is precisely what the Maamada turtle appears to be. This unusual creature is so adeptly camouflaged that it's often mistaken for debris, dead foliage, or even a submerged rock. One of the explorers, likely having tripped over what he assumed was a random clump of jungle refuse, leans down to investigate. As he reaches out, the supposed pile of leaves suddenly shifts, eliciting a collective gasp from the group. The Maamada, a true master of disguise, reveals itself in all its peculiar splendor. For a moment, the group is frozen, unsure whether to laugh or be alarmed, as the turtle's bizarre features seem almost otherworldly. Someone whispers that it looks like a creature from a forgotten myth, while another quickly sketches its outline in a notebook, eager to capture the moment. The air is thick with excitement and disbelief, as if they've stumbled upon a living fossil. Even the local guide, who has seen his share of jungle oddities, admits he's never encountered anything quite like this. The turtle, meanwhile, seems entirely unbothered by its sudden fame, blinking slowly as if to say, "You're not the first to be fooled." With a flat triangular head, an exaggeratedly thin neck, and a shell resembling an abstract sculpture, it seems as if nature decided to create a turtle that defied the norm. The explorer, now recognizing he has stumbled upon something extraordinary, watches as the turtle lazily blinks, possibly as astonished by the human as the human is by it. Though its discovery was not as dramatic as encountering a jaguar or a massive anaconda, the Maamada quickly fascinated naturalists. Unlike most turtles designed for streamlined swimming, the Maamada is built for ambush. It remains completely still, perfectly blending in with its surroundings, waiting for prey to pass by. When the moment arrives, it doesn't chase. It simply opens its cavernous mouth, creating a vacuum that draws in water and whatever unfortunate creature happened to be nearby. As word of the Maamada spread, it became somewhat of a celebrity in the scientific community, not because it was dangerous or fast, but due to its delightfully bizarre appearance. In the Amazon, where fierce predators dominate, the Maamada relies on its incredible camouflage to evade detection. Ultimately, the Maamada turtle serves as a reminder that in nature, the strangest creatures can also be the most captivating. It doesn't require speed or power to survive, just an excellent hiding spot and a face that might only be appreciated by its mother. Perhaps that's why we find ourselves enchanted by this peculiar little being from the Amazon. Number 5. The Redbellied Piranha. Have you ever contemplated what it feels like to be surrounded by shadows, aware that something lethal could be lurking just below the surface? This was the unsettling reality for the early explorers navigating the Amazon River. The jungle loomed thick on all sides, oppressive and stifling as the dark waters of the river flowed quietly beneath their canoes. They had heard the legends of a fish so ferocious that one bite could sever flesh in an instant, a creature feared even by local tribes. The air was heavy with humidity as they paddled deeper into the Amazon's heart, where the river appeared calm, perhaps too calm as if it were holding its breath. The explorers scanned the waters, their senses heightened by the eerie tranquility. Then, without warning, the surface began to ripple. Initially, it was just a minor disturbance, but soon the water began to churn. What emerged from the depths sent a chill down their spines. They caught glimpses of silver flashes, the gleam of sharp teeth, and the unmistakable, ominous red of the creatures' bellies. These were the red-bellied piranhas, small yet lethal fish, with a reputation as fearsome as any predator in the jungle. The red-bellied piranha is a robust and compact fish, typically measuring around 12 to 14 inches long, though some can grow nearly 20 inches. Its sleek body is adorned with glimmering silvery scales that seem to blend seamlessly into the murky depths of the river. However, it is the belly that captures attention, a deep blood-red hue that serves as a warning of the fish's aggressive nature. Local guides often told stories of cattle being stripped to the bone in minutes, their tales fueling the explorers' growing unease. Sometimes, a single drop of blood in the water was enough to trigger a feeding frenzy, transforming the river into a swirling cauldron of chaos. The explorers watched in horror as a hapless bird, landing too close to the surface, was set upon by the piranhas and vanished almost instantly. Even the bravest among them hesitated to dip a hand in the water, knowing that curiosity could come at a steep price. The jungle, already alive with unseen dangers, now seemed to close in tighter, amplifying every splash and shadow. This vivid coloration contrasts sharply with its silver body, giving the piranha the appearance of having been dipped in crimson paint. Yet, it's the teeth that truly define this creature. Sharp, triangular, and interlocking, these teeth are designed for slicing through flesh with terrifying efficiency. Each tooth resembles a miniature blade capable of cutting through skin, muscle, and even bone. The piranha's jaws are powerful, snapping shut with remarkable speed and force. As the piranhas swarmed closer, their red bellies flashing in the dim light, the explorers realized the truth behind the legends. The water around them seemed to boil as the fish moved together, their movements eerily synchronized. The explorers, who had dismissed the tales as mere exaggeration, suddenly found themselves in a desperate struggle against one of the Amazon's most notorious predators. Number 4. The giant river otter. As early explorers paddled through the Amazon River, they anticipated encountering familiar wildlife, piranhas, jaguars, anacondas, the kind of creatures that would inspire thrilling letters home. However, they were unprepared for a meeting with a creature straight out of a bizarre dream, the giant river otter. The first sign that something unusual was nearby came in the form of sounds, a mix of barks, growls, and something eerily reminiscent of laughter. Ignoring the warning signs, the explorers drew closer. It was then they spotted the source of the commotion, a massive, sleek creature effortlessly gliding through the water as if it owned the place. At first glance, the explorers likely thought they were observing a very large and seemingly friendly otter. After all, how dangerous could an otter be? But this was no ordinary otter. This was the giant river otter, a creature that appeared to have bulked up after hitting the gym, ready to form a band complete with vocals and choreography. Stretching up to 6 feet long and weighing as much as a grown man, these otters didn't just swim, they patrolled the river like it was their royal domain. As the boat drifted closer, one explorer might have reached for his sketch pad, eager to document this magnificent beast. However, any dreams of artistic glory were quickly overshadowed by the realization that the river was swarming with these otters. One otter slapped its tail on the water, sending a spray over the bow and making the explorers jump. Another otter dove beneath the boat, surfacing on the other side with a triumphant snort, as if playing a private joke. The explorers exchanged nervous glances, realizing they were the center of attention in a very unusual audience. A third otter, smaller but no less bold, chattered loudly and seemed to beckon the others to join in the spectacle. For a moment, it felt less like a wildlife encounter and more like an impromptu performance staged just for them. With a playful yet mildly intimidating demeanor, they began to investigate these strange two-legged visitors. The otters circled the boat, popping up here and there, their large, round eyes sparkling with mischief and a hint of menace. The explorers, now surrounded, couldn't help but notice that while these creatures had the face of oversized teddy bears, their teeth suggested they could easily make a meal of anything that got too close. The explorers' hearts raced when one particularly daring otter decided to make an appearance right next to the boat, standing tall on its hind legs like a furry guardian. It gave the humans a look that clearly stated, "You're in my territory now." The explorers, suddenly remembering they had other commitments, wisely opted to paddle away, quickly. As they retreated, the otters resumed their activities, possibly sharing a laugh at the expense of the frightened humans. Despite its size and unique appearance, characterized by chocolate-brown fur and a distinctive white throat patch, the giant river otter remained largely enigmatic to outsiders until the 20th century. Number 3. The Electric Eel. Picture yourself wading into the murky waters of the Amazon River, ready for an adventure when suddenly, zap, you've just encountered one of nature's most electrifying creatures. The electric eel can generate up to 600 volts of electricity, enough to make a grown person leap out of the water and reconsider their life choices. The first significant encounter with the electric eel occurred in 1775 when American physician Hugh Williamson presented his experiments at the Royal Society. This decision would lead to one of the most shocking experiences of his life. He reported feeling a jolt after touching the eel, which also stunned a nearby catfish, demonstrating its impressive electrical capabilities. However, a more dramatic encounter took place in 1800, when explorer Alexander von Humboldt observed electric eels attacking horses during a fishing expedition. The horses, frightened by the shocks, drowned after being incapacitated, prompting Humboldt to note how the eels required rest after exerting their electric energy. This incident showcased the eel's power and the awe it inspired among early explorers. Local villagers often shared tales of mysterious lights flickering beneath the water at night, attributing them to the electric eel's surges. Some fishermen even carried wooden paddles, believing the non-conductive material would protect them from a sudden jolt. There were stories of dogs and other animals refusing to swim in certain stretches of river, as if they sensed the hidden danger lurking below. On rare occasions, a particularly bold eel would leap from the water, delivering a shock to anything it perceived as a threat near the surface. These encounters only added to the creature's legendary status, making it both feared and respected by those who lived along the riverbanks. The electric eel, equipped with specialized cells called electrocytes, can create electricity that functions like tiny batteries. When it chooses to strike, whether it's a fish, a predator, or an unsuspecting human, it activates these cells in a coordinated fashion. The result is a powerful electric charge capable of stunning prey or deterring threats. It's akin to having a built-in taser, minus the licensing requirement. Growing up to 10 feet long, these fascinating creatures are primarily nocturnal hunters. They utilize their electrical abilities not only for hunting but also for navigation and communication. Imagine a dinner party where everyone tries to talk over each other, but instead of shouting, they zap each other into submission. From its shocking powers to its unique adaptations, the electric eel serves as a reminder that the Amazon is a treasure trove of bizarre and wonderful wildlife. Number 2. Sea cucumbers. The tale of the sea cucumber combines curiosity, confusion, and a dash of culinary intrigue, albeit not in the way you might anticipate. Picture an adventurous naturalist journeying through the diverse ecosystems of the world's oceans, cataloging the odd and wonderful creatures encountered along the way. They've encountered fish with glowing appendages, crabs with claws as large as dinner plates, and octopuses that change color seemingly for amusement, but nothing prepared them for the sight of a slimy, squishy creature lounging on the ocean floor. It all began when an inquisitive explorer, perhaps on a mission to find unique marine species, stumbled upon an organism that seemed out of place. There it rested, a long, soft-bodied creature lying motionless, resembling a cucumber that had been left in the sun too long. It didn't display speed, aggression, or any notable features. In fact, it hardly moved, leading the explorer to question whether it was an animal or merely some odd marine vegetable. But this creature was indeed alive, and the more the explorer observed, the more perplexing it became. The sea cucumber, as it was later identified, lacked fins, scales, or a hard shell. Instead, it had a soft, tubular body covered in leathery skin. Content to lie on the seafloor, it occasionally expanded and contracted its body, suggesting either a breathing mechanism or an attempt at comfort. At one point, the explorer noticed a tiny shrimp darting in and out of the sea cucumber's rear, a bizarre partnership that only deepened the mystery. Another time, a passing crab tried to nibble at the sea cucumber, only to be met with a sudden squirt of sticky filaments. The explorer scribbled furiously in his journal, marveling at how this unassuming creature could command such a dramatic defense. Even the local divers, who had seen their share of ocean oddities, admitted they rarely paid attention to sea cucumbers until witnessing this spectacle. It was as if the ocean itself had hidden a secret performance, waiting for the right audience. Not easily deterred, the naturalist decided to take a closer look, perhaps prodding it with a stick. The sea cucumber, unimpressed by the intrusion, responded in a manner that left the explorer both astonished and a little disgusted. It expelled part of its internal organs as a defense mechanism, an act that can only be described as dramatic. This unusual reaction highlighted the sea cucumber's method of handling threats, literally spilling its guts to evade predators, fully aware it could regenerate lost parts later. How could something so slow and squishy thrive in the competitive ocean? What exactly was it? A plant? An animal? The truth turned out to be even stranger. The sea cucumber is an echinoderm, related to starfish and sea urchins, despite looking like it belonged to a different family. News of this peculiar creature spread, igniting interest in the scientific community. Here was an organism that defied expectations at every turn, from its strange defense mechanisms to its leisurely lifestyle. Naturalists were both intrigued and entertained by this creature that moved sluggishly and fed by filtering particles from the seabed. However, the sea cucumber wasn't finished surprising people. Over time, certain species were recognized as delicacies in various cultures, particularly in Asia. What began as a peculiar, rubbery organism lying on the seafloor evolved into a prized ingredient for soups and stews. The explorers who first encountered the sea cucumber could never have envisioned that this strange, squishy creature would eventually find its way into some of the world's finest kitchens. Number 1. The bull shark. Imagine the astonishment of early explorers and fishermen when they encountered a creature that seemed oblivious to the boundaries between ocean and freshwater rivers. Enter the bull shark. This was no ordinary shark. It was akin to that uninvited friend who crashes every party, showing up in places it clearly doesn't belong. Bull sharks possess a unique trait. They thrive equally in the salty depths of the ocean and the fresh waters of rivers and lakes. For centuries, people believed they were safe from shark encounters as long as they stayed inland. Sharks were deemed an ocean issue, they thought, wading into rivers and lakes with confidence and little concern. But then, the bull shark arrived to change that perception. Picture this. A group of fishermen was hauling in their nets, expecting to find the usual assortment of catfish and maybe a few carp. They were laughing and discussing how fortunate they were. Suddenly, the water churned violently and their nets felt unusually heavy. The laughter faded as something large and decidedly not a catfish thrashed within the net. As they pulled their catch closer, they got their first look at the bull shark, a creature shaped like a torpedo, with a face only its mother could love, and an attitude that could intimidate anyone. Its eyes seemed to convey, "Yeah, I'm here, and what about it?" The fishermen likely experienced a moment of stunned silence, followed by a rapid discussion on whether to release it back or take it home. One of the younger fishermen, wide-eyed, whispered that he had only ever seen sharks in storybooks, never in the muddy river outside his village. Another, more seasoned, tried to recall if there were any local legends about river monsters, suddenly wondering if this was the origin of those tales. The boat rocked again as the shark gave a powerful twist, splashing everyone and sending a bucket of bait tumbling overboard. For a brief moment, the group was frozen, caught between awe and a very real sense of danger, as the shark's dorsal fins sliced through the water beside the boat. Even the birds overhead seemed to quiet, as if nature itself was pausing to watch the drama unfold. The fishermen likely experienced a moment of stunned silence, followed by a rapid discussion on whether to release it back or take it home. After all, it wasn't every day they caught a shark in their local river. Then came the unexpected twist. As they struggled to wrestle the shark onto the boat, it demonstrated exactly why it had earned its reputation as one of the most aggressive sharks around. The bull shark thrashed with such ferocity that the boat rocked precariously. The fishermen suddenly faced the grim reality of dealing with a predator that didn't care about the supposed rules of where sharks should reside. For the bull shark, every body of water was a potential hunting ground, and if these humans were unaware of that fact, it was their own problem. Ultimately, whether through sheer determination or by allowing the shark to have its way, the fishermen managed to return the shark to the water, hopefully far from their legs. As the bull shark swam away, likely feeling quite pleased with itself, the fishermen began to spread the word. There's a shark in the river, and it's mean. From that moment on, residents living near rivers and lakes in places like the Amazon, Mississippi, and even the Ganges started to view the waters with new caution. They had heard of sharks, but this one, it was an entirely new level of danger. Which of these creatures fascinates you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.